He found fresh stuff.
The one on the front.
So he's,
Yeah, that would be cool.
no choice.
I mean,
They're like,
I don't know, the guy yesterday dropped all our stuff off of work.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I saw the heavy check on Monday.
that's why I don't put a collar on my cat.
maybe get the telephone.
I try to keep her inside. When it's cold, it's easy, but when it gets.
Yeah.
I always send the dogs out 3 at a time, so I figure if there's something, no, they're medium-sized dogs.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that my dog killed
Well, we had, probably 5 or 6 years ago, we had 2 dogs, and we heard a big fight out there. And then one of them came back all bloody, and we're like, oh, and then he was like walking up crowd. It wasn't his blood. It was 2 on 1, and they beat up on him.
Did you see that GNC moved out to the gate? Shelter empty, everything.
Really?
Good job. I need to bring this up, that's the certified mile, that's what our,
Did you
I
check?
know.
that's what we had last year.
Well, then and there wasn't anything added?
Yeah, no, we didn't have nothing.
Yeah, just.
Maple Crush surprised me.
I told-
I didn't put it on the agenda.
I'm setting up a
So
meeting.
just add my roads to your
Agenda?
agenda.
I didn't even think about it, I thought it was. No, this year we'll get some things added.
No, which is wrong, we're good. You didn't get any extra ones to know about, so it'll be 2E.
They,
Let me know. Yeah.
Don't know where it is.
I know we sent letters. But that was it.
I did. Maybe he did.
That happens to us all.
It's a credit card. It's a withdrawal. So
But that's what I mean, so maybe I.
Hey, when you came up, we were swamped. But, Lauren was off for 2 weeks, and now she's on jury duty, so.
We did it for years.
Yeah, good. Did what I told you that worked? Okay, good. Yeah.
I can't make it tonight. You said those guys in there.
Oh, we're on the air, by the way.
You got 1
FYI.
minute. 1 minute.
You know, you were supposed to do it on.
You're gonna be there
I was
Thursday.
part of it, I hate it. I would listen. But, man, it just.
Public service, these gentlemen done this.
Okay, that's it.
How are you?
Okay, 8 o'clock, let's get this party started.
I don't know. I hate it. I don't.
Okay, I pledge allegiance to the flag
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Dear Lord, we approach you this morning and pray that you would be with us, that you would give us knowledge and wisdom to make good decisions. We pray and we thank you that we've been able to be entrusted with these positions that we have to be there to lead our people and to do what is the best for them. Bless us, Lord, in my name, amen.
Amen.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, we don't have any guests today. Do we have any announcements or correspondence? Sir, do you have any?
No.
Nick, you got anything?
Nothing today.
Okay, the minutes, have you guys gotten to read them?
Yes.
Okay, well, We need a motion to approve the minutes of 12/14/22. I can make that motion. Just need a second.
I can second that.
Okay,
All those in favor, Mike,
yes,
Sue, Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
okay. Then we have an organizational meeting, which was 1/3/23. I'm going to make a motion and we approve those.
So,
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
yes,
Nick,
Abstain.
motion passed.
Okay, and then the last one would be the inventory meeting of 1/9/23. I'll make that motion, John.
second,
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay. Let's get to the agenda. Do we have any additions, deletions?
Mike, I need to make an addition to road departments,
Okay, that'll be E.
road mileage
Road mileage.
certification and then.
Okay. Cassie, anybody?
I don't know if we need to have this on the agenda, but I just wanted to follow up with my request in the organizational meeting to have a new printout of our organization with all our people, except for it's been a long time since it's been done. Has that
Where would we
been
have
done yet?
that?
It's in the process. Roy, Craig, did Rochelle get to you guys with a list of all your, like your organizational chart over there? Did she request that from you guys?
Not yet. Do we need to send it to her or just send it to Sue directly?
No, she's putting a big master one together, so I didn't want her doing anything with fire and police. I wanted you guys, I don't know who's, I wanted
didn't-
you to tell me.
I did not get that request.
I can send it to her today.
Yeah, I can have it done
Okay,
today.
she was working on it.
Okay.
Rochelle, make sure you send that over. No, we don't have it done yet, Sue, but that's what
But
we're
it's in
doing.
the works.
Yeah, but we're
Okay.
getting, I was having those two do their chart for me, so I didn't mess up any
Okay,
sergeants or
that's all
lieutenants or
I
anything
had.
like that.
You have such a timid voice now.
I'll get mean now.
Can we add under administration to be as in boy library? I have an update on the library project.
To be.
Okay. If there's nothing else, I'm gonna make a motion that we amend the agenda by adding under admin, number B, library update.
Second.
Well, I got one more, and E, road mileage. Sue, second?
Yeah,
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Okay, I have reviewed all the purchase orders, and I'm gonna make a motion that we accept them. We have a second for discussion.
I'll second for discussion. Two discussion points. Is this going to be all purchase orders from this meeting and the purchase orders left over from the
Yes,
December 28th meeting?
yes.
I had a couple questions on the POs, John. There was a PO for 25-2023, which is with Connected HR. There was a $200 increase. Should
They
we
raised
hold that? Did
They raised their annual prices, what they did.
Is it in our contract that they can do
That was
that?
the annual contract that we had with them. So by us signing that, it's gonna be acknowledging the new price.
So that's locking us into another 1-year contract? That's
Right,
on
when
that?
we sign off on that.
Okay.
Yes,
Because I just saw that price increase. I was just
Yeah.
trying to figure out.
they raised it.
Okay.
She's,
Just like the rest.
I think it's worth it for her. I mean, she does a good job.
She is a great person. I've talked to her multiple times, and she's wrapping up the employee manual, and she's doing a great job. In fact, I never even saw the other one, but it's okay.
Yeah, I was just, because I was curious, I used to get weekly updates, and I haven't at least gotten an update on it from the HR consultant since September.
We never got weekly updates, so. But
In
that's-
regards to just HR functions going on,
Yeah, she used to send out an email saying.
she did, but I just, maybe I confused. She's sending stuff to me that's other stuff, but I'll have to look and make sure that she's putting that out again still.
I just stopped up and talked to her. She's a nice person.
Okay. Yeah, it's just a good idea, because we also had the goal for HR, and that's why I was questioning the price increase to have the manual done by October. We're now into January.
Well, and I will take a little bit off of her back on that. Some of those items are in my ballpark, which have gotten, it's in the middle of my busy season and everything else that was going on, so those kind of got pushed to the back of the burner right now, so I'm working on it now, but she was holding off on some things for me, and then she got the final approval from road, police, and fire. on their manual. I believe all three of you looked at it, we're good with
Yeah,
it.
she has just sent out sections
Yeah.
weekly or every other week for review, and I've taken time to review and comment.
Yeah, there's a couple that I'm responsible for, so I'll take blame on that. That's my delay on that.
Okay. And then there was PO 30/2023 for zoning consulting fees. I know when Wendy had left, we went into that transition, we hired a consultant to kind of help fill those gaps with the idea of it being temporary. Is the plan now just to keep her on kind of more permanently? Because this is the second time in a row we've had those. It was $700 for 28 hours of work.
Well, she's a 1099 employee that we out there as needed, I guess. There isn't a,
And there wasn't a time limit we put on her.
she's just a temporary 1099 employee.
Right.
So it's kind of been left up to Mike to use her when they needed him. I know that Lauren was gone for a while. She was on vacation and she had COVID for a while.
She's on jury duty today.
She's on jury duty today. I did get that this morning.
Okay.
So it's just an open, she's a 1099 employee in the township. So we might not use her for a year and then we might use her for a week and a half. Mike, we did talk about that the other day. What she.
So the pressing need for her was that Lauren was sick and then she was out on vacation for 2 weeks during Christmas. So we needed Kayla to step up during that time period because we have time limits, zoning commission, BZA. There's things that need to get out and be done. And then Mark was pressing because the zoning commission Thursday night, he has to have an opinion and language ready for them. So he needed the zoning commission minutes from the previous meeting. And while Lauren was out, we had Kayla do them. And she's typing up our zoning resolution.
So I knew she was working.
So the problem with the zoning resolution is we have all these changes from OR to LI, all these changes that we did this last year. Everything has to be given to the county, and the whole zoning resolution's in PDF and not in Word. So every time you make a change, you got to type up a whole new chapter. So I'm just having her put everything in Word, the whole thing. That way, when we make changes in the future, it's just 1 or 2 words. It's not retyping the whole thing. So.
Plus, she's a 1099 employee. We don't have all that matching stuff.
Right.
I still think you need a part-timer, but that's just one opinion.
There's just no room to put a part-timer anywhere. So
Right.
right now.
But when they build that wing for you. Okay.
And then I had purchase order number 1085-2022. This was a holiday party that was paid for by the township. I'm not opposed to it. I think, we should be able to celebrate successes in those things. My concern with the spending was that it included spouses, and we were using taxpayer dollars for spouses as part of that spending. So I just wanted to make sure that was brought to the attention of the board.
Well, that was good, and I did check it, and, I guess if we're gonna point fingers at anybody, maybe we should point some at the fire department and other departments. I think you've signed the checks where they had a party for Chris Morrison, which was paid for by tax dollars, and it didn't bother you back then.
Was that paid for by tax dollars, or was that union dollars? Thank you. Those were union fees, union dollars.
I don't know, it came through our
We
thing.
paid it out.
Yeah, we paid it,
We paid for the gift for him,
but you got a
That
check
was the
for it.
$1,500 for.
for the gift.
We paid for the gift.
You paid $1,500 for a gift, taxpayer money. And I have no problem with it,
Which
but,
was approved.
if we're talking,
My concern is that the response was that we're paying for spouses with taxpayer dollars, and it was to thank them for their hard work, and it was an administrative party, but we excluded other administrative staff members, and that was my concern.
I think for all the good these people do, I'm just one opinion.
I agree. I think they do a great job.
They had-
It's just our-
Yeah.
Just so you know, what I did, I got there late because I was Santa that night and I wasn't gonna go. But they had a party and Dave was there, Chris was there. There was an administrative Christmas thing. I came in late. I decided to make that call to pay for that as a thank you guys for doing all this, is what I did. So that decision was on me to pay that. It wasn't set up for just, there was a party that they had, a Christmas party, and there were other departments that were there, but I showed up late and decided to pay for it for everybody. So that's where I went with that.
That was great.
And I think the last one that I just had a question on was the spending at Hartville Hardware. the boots and stuff. I didn't know if that's part of our contract, or the contract is the $500 a year for uniform allowance, plus we pay for the uniforms. If that's just something we've always done, it just came to my attention as I was looking at those.
We've done it a couple of years now.
We've done it for the last few years. When we switched things over, made it steel-toe boots and stuff, we had that discussion then, and we were making sure each year they had a pair of steel-toed boots, safety glasses, safety gloves, safety vests. We bought them new stuff for the last few years.
Do we buy turnout gear for the fire department?
We do,
So it's the same thing.
but we do buy turnout.
Well, if I received $500 a year for clothing allowance, I saw that purchase order and I looked at that itemized thing and there was a pair of boots in there for $200 and some dollars. So I'm not gonna take that 500 and just, for that whole year, just buy me a new pair of boots.
And normally they go through a couple pairs of boots a year. I mean, with
I mean,
what we
that would
do,
be-
so.
That would be equipment, that wouldn't be clothing.
I mean, from a workers' comp standpoint, that would probably be a.
Well, in this way also, I mean, I make sure there is the composite toes or steel toes and stuff. That way I know that stuff's on the safety side of it. So, and then the glasses have to be safety glasses, trying to make sure everybody's well equipped for what's happening. So,
Because there was like Carhartt shirts or something or hoodies in there too, so that's really what caught my attention was between.
it's a lot of times, well, the jackets and stuff like that, your safety jackets with this thing.
Yeah, the striping.
Yeah, so, yeah, that way I know everybody's on the roadway safe, so.
Okay. That's the questions I had on the POs.
Okay. I'll make a motion,
We had one out there. Mike, you made it. Nick seconded it.
Okay,
All those in favor, Mike,
yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick,
No.
motion passed.
Okay, well, I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the warrants. I've signed them.
so move.
I have a question just on the one warrant, 69027 for Walmart. Where did you guys get a chance to send over the receipts for Shop with the Cop? Because it just only had like 2 or 3 receipts there.
I'm sorry, run that by me one more time.
The receipts for Shop with the Cop, when I was looking at the PO and the check, the receipts, there was only like 2 receipts for Shop with the Cop, so there was a couple $1,000s worth of receipts not there when they came across. The person said she was working on getting the receipts.
I'll have to follow up on that for you.
Okay.
Sorry.
Did you have this?
Quick.
You said Kirsten needed a couple additional receipts on that? So-
Yeah, she didn't have it for all the
This
purchases.
warrant's. You can make that.
Yep.
I'm so sorry. No, I have bronchitis. I apologize. I have a second for the warrants.
Sue, second.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes,
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed. Excuse me for a minute.
Oh, wow, John's hacking up a log. Public comments?
I have none at this time. Okay.
since we have a couple of seconds here, Sunday, that the basement barn grill that opened up, I crashed their party. Had a tea.
Well, we got invitations. I got one late because it came on my township email. So yeah, you're a good thing you're there.
Oh, yeah, I enjoy crashing parties. And I went in and I met the owners and, they had, the one owner was from Indiana. And they have maybe 6 or 7 of those basement bar and grills all around this area here. And, anyway, I was really impressed. They had they were ready for the guests. Everything was just spit shined and polished and spun a little bit like bleach and.
Does it look a lot different or?
Oh, yeah, they've redone it inside, got a lot more TVs up there so you can watch different sports events. And the menu was just humongous. I mean, I have even brought a menu home and talked about it. But, and it did, I'm really, this coming Saturday, they're gonna be open to the public.
Oh, they're not open
And
now.
they will be open on Saturday, so I would just encourage everybody to go over there
Not
and
on
take a look.
Saturday.
Hello,
Who's that?
Brimfield Township.
That's good. I hope they do good.
I do too, I think they do well.
Okay, are there any safety concerns? Hey, Dave, I was noticing, I drove down Malloy Road, because, you're talking about you're taking some of the trees and stuff down. Boy, just can't notice how their trees are hanging over that top part of that Malloy Road.
They get called all the time about that. 'Cause a lot of times they get calls and then we just, we send it to that way.
They're terrible. I mean, they're really
Well, they got,
making some
yeah,
action.
they even got their own little breeze, guys that go out and cut themselves, so. I don't know.
Okay. Well, I don't know if I should take notes. I don't want to touch his pad. Okay, well, let's get to the meeting. Okay, Roy.
Yeah, thanks, Mike. I just have a couple of items for the board this morning for your approval. First items, I need board approval to accept a 2022 Iowa Office of Criminal Justice Services Body Worn Camera Program Grant Award in the amount of $9,768. Those grant funds will be used to help pay for our cloud-based storage video for our body worn cameras. So I just need board approval to formally accept the grant.
Okay.
I'll make that motion to accept the 2022 Ohio Peace Officer Criminal Justice Services Body Cam Warrant Program Grant.
Second.
Second, Sue. Hey, John, for the new business board, they're making a motion. Okay. Nick made the motion, Sue seconded. Okay, thanks. Is there any discussion on it?
I second.
Okay.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And the second item I need board approval for is for our record maintenance fees agreement with Kent State University Department of Public Safety for calendar year 2023. It'll be in the amount of $29,290. This will be our first half payment that'll be due, which is in the amount of $14,945. This is our annual records RMS agreement with Kent State that we pay every year. So we have a records and maintenance agreement with them each year. We also have our communications agreement. So this is just our records and maintenance fee agreement for 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the BPD records and RMS maintenance fees for calendar year 2023 from Kent State.
I can second that. Hey, Roy, did that go up any or
Yeah, I think it was about 2%.
about 2%?
Didn't we do a research here a few years ago on this and what they are charging us? We couldn't find anybody that could beat that price.
Well, I think prior to my time, I think there was some research done on some of that. I think there was a check done with Ravenna. That would be prior to my time, so I don't have any substantive information to that. What I can say is since I've been here in 2015 and we've had a good arrangement with
We've
Kent
had
State
good
University
arrangements,
Department of
but
Public
they've
Safety.
done good work for us.
Yeah.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay, thank you. Those are the only two items I had for you this morning.
Thank you.
That's it. Okay. Greg, fire.
Okay, you can see on the report there, the year end for service, we were ahead this year by about 40 calls. I thought we were going to be quite a bit further ahead, but a little bit. So you can see the number we ended up with. That has been an increase of about 200 to 300 over the last couple of years, so calls are going up. But we knew that. Station build updates, I know you all are aware, but the roof shingles are delivered and starting to happen. Windows are still being installed. Garage doors are going up with the temporary heat on the inside. And yesterday when I walked through, they were starting to pull electric lines and cable lines and everything else. So there is work still going on. Again, I think that all trades that are in there would like to have 6 more workers here with us, but they got what they got right now. So I'm hoping tomorrow, John and I have discussed the end date of the project. I don't believe that they're going to be done in 3 more weeks. So I expect that end date to extend, but I'm hoping tomorrow I get an update on that. Again, Thursdays at 11 o'clock, if anybody, any of the trustees would like to, or fiscal office, would like to come over and be part of that discussion that we have, Sue's always there with me, but more than welcome. If you have any questions or want any say in choices, that's the time to do that. So, any questions on the station?
I want to keep asking, has there been any more discussion on the area they're going to do by the gazebo?
No.
Shouldn't they be getting to?
We preemptively, Dave and I worked with Koonsman, took down one more tree. He stumped around that edge. So we're ready to shave all that the way it needs to be, but.
And they are saving those sandstones, right?
I have requested 3 or 4 times, yes, put them in our pile in the back.
I'm just one trustee, but I think they really need to fix it up the best they can. I'd love to see weddings, small weddings take place in the gazebo again.
Well, I think it has to, because we're gonna have, there's too much of a drop. Someone's gonna fall off of there.
Right.
So they're gonna have to fix it, but I'm learning with these projects that I have to ask 20 times to get one answer. So I'm still asking.
Okay, well, I mean, it looks good. I think Scott's doing a great job.
Yeah, no, it's going good. Sue, you had made a comment the other day, there's dents on the front garage doors.
Did you see any
I
there?
didn't see any. So I don't know if it was the way the rain was hitting it.
It
I
could
did
have
not
been.
see
There was
it.
a resident gave me a quick
okay.
call and wanted me to take a look, and I said that I would bring it much to.
Okay, and then this is kind of off subject, but I'm working on the flag to be fixed again.
Oh,
We're just gonna have to set up John a blank PO for like $1,000 because I'm going through about
Just keep
4
ordering.
flags a year.
Can't we order a bunch of them at a time?
Yeah.
And just have them sitting there?
Well, I'm trying to find one that lasts, but that wind just shreds them.
Is it from the wind? Is
Yeah.
it's not bouncing off anything?
No, because all the trees are gone, they're still shredding.
I got one from, it's a flag company in the US, and it set on my pole for a year, and I didn't have any problems with it.
I have, the last ones I ordered
US
were
flags, maybe
$200,
as well?
$250. They're good flags, the best I can find, and they're still shredding.
All of our cemetery ones are shredding too.
The old Brimfield one, or that ones?
US flag.
Yeah, they're all, I mean,
Yeah,
even the ones we have on
Fine.
the roadway shred out seasons.
Yeah, if I can find the name of that flag company I use, they are really good. It's the best flag I've ever got.
Craig, I have one.
Let me
question.
know, Mike, if you find
I
it.
think it's US flag or something like that. Let's see if I can find
I'll
it.
take care of the next one again, but it's gonna be about 3 or 4 a year. until
Well, we just need to order a stack of them if we find one. Craig, is that work that they're doing over there by the gazebo, is that fixing your office problem down there? With the
Well,
water issue?
I don't think I'm gonna have a water issue. It's gonna be more if someone steps off the gazebo, they're gonna roll down into the building.
So are we putting the fence up or
Well,
do they?
that's what I've requested. I need a retention, probably with a fence, because if you go over, I believe code is over 2 foot. I need some kind of railing, which it's over 2 foot. So, no, there needs to be a fence.
That's part of this
That's part
project
of
that we're
what
doing
we're-
right now, we're shaving the trees down and
Well,
there's that.
yeah,
Okay,
if you look at the sidewalk coming in by the mailbox, the dirt's like 3 foot higher than the sidewalk. Well, that's gotta be shaved out. And they know that, but the excavating company is not going to bring in a machine just to do one little thing. They're gonna do it when they come back, so,
The final grade or whatever.
yeah. So it has to be done. So Mike, the answer is it's gonna have to be done, but I don't have an answer.
Okay, that's good. Thank you. Anything else, Craig?
I know John said we didn't really need to talk about it, but I just want to bring it up as subject. We talked about the BWC grant. We approved an amount on Monday. I ended up beating them down on the price, so we got a reduced price. So I'll go back to the BWC and adjust that. The PO that we set is now well above what I need, so I don't think we need to readjust it. But just so you know, it went down from 57 to 45. So that's a good thing. Last thing I needed to discuss that was not on here was on February 3rd, Ritztown Schools has asked me to do a career day for firefighting. I wanted to bring that up as discussion. I think, for example, we're putting on a test right now for a new fire. I think I'm leaning into the police era where I have one application back. So reaching out and doing those kind of things would be good, even though those would be kids right now. Now, I I guess I want it for the board because I am on the school board over there. So if you want me to use my own time to do that, I will do that. So up to you guys. It would be from 8 to 11 in the morning.
I mean, I don't have a problem with it. I think it's great if you gotta start recruiting some people.
Well, I think we're to that. We were good on the last test, and like I said, right now I sit with one. That's bad.
What age group?
This would be high school kids.
High school kids?
And obviously, we're not gonna pull anybody now, but the retention, I guess we're gonna have to do those career days and try to get kids.
I can't believe it. That's terrible.
Yeah.
Is Palmer gonna have a hard time, Chief Palmer?
They did not ask him, because he never comes to them. So,
I just didn't know if you were gonna run into any issues with him.
again, I think they asked me because I am on the board over there, so.
It's okay.
Did they ever ask you for field?
No, never.
I wonder if they even have a career. day.
I don't know. I'm not sure. But again, in full disclosure, if you guys are okay with that, I'd like to do that. If not, I really use my own time for that.
I don't think we need a motion.
Okay. Just so you're aware.
Just an FYI. So I have no, I would like to see Craig in our community, be, like if he's just shopping at Walmart and he runs into some residents, give them all a smile and how are you? And be keep armament and, say hello to people and be
I always do.
be out there with it. I understand, working in corporate, I understand, there were times when I was in the same situation, too, I needed to go there and talk to them, my employer at that time. Had no difficulty, say that I had to, take my own personal time to do that.
Well, whatever you guys would like.
I was the president of Brimfield Congress. Yeah, we're going around.
Yeah, that's true. That's a
And they,
different area.
they work that way.
Okay, well, I don't think we need a motion.
Nick,
Okay.
do you have any issues with?
I mean, you're solid.
With that?
No, I think it's representing the fire department, and yeah, obviously try to do it.
Right.
Represent the fire department.
Right, and John, I will speak to the chief.
Yeah, I just didn't want you to have any issues over there.
I will. That's a good idea.
Okay, thanks, Greg.
That's all I have.
Okay, admin. I think I had the Lions Club sign put on. I talked to Dee Kramer. They have 3 of them, right?
3.
Great. They would just like to, they're on their own poles, right?
Right.
They would like to have them put up. And I mean, I guess they've sat next to our sign for so many years.
By the new signs,
Yeah.
those little stands that they have,
They're so small. Yeah. I just want to make a motion that we allow the Lions Club to put their signs back up in a spot that's acceptable to Dave Rutner. So, just need a second.
I'll second that.
I think they are a very vibrant group in our community and we should support them. So,
okay, all those in favor, Mike?
yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
So Dave, would you, whenever you get a chance?
Yeah, I'll take it. That's the only problem. I don't know where to put them.
I want you to make the decision.
Well, but that's the thing. It's hard to say where to put them at. Is the biggest thing.
I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Oh, we'll see. We'll see what we come up
You
with.
want me to come by and look? I don't know. I
Just
just
so it doesn't look like in front of us.
Well, and that's the thing.
maybe off to the farthest from the road, maybe. I don't know, whatever you think.
Is I'd have to make sure we stay within our easements.
Okay.
You mean the sign easements, like the entrance
Yeah.
sign easement? There's no,
Yeah, maybe talk to Mike.
there's no room on those. You'd have to create a new easement.
The easement's that tight.
Yeah, because I know them signs took up a lot of area.
Those, how big is it?
No, our signs we put up.
Mike, would you mind working with them? And
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. It's just, we have to create a new easement, that's all. Separate for those signs.
Is there any way to attach their signs to our signage? Like on the brickwork or something? That way we're not having to drill, dig, and do new easements. I know we originally discussed that. and
Right,
decided against
it'd
it.
have, think we'd have to look at some kind of epoxy or something. If we did that, you know, where we're not drilling into the.
Yeah, because it's stone.
Right.
Well, their signs are wood, aren't they?
How
I'd
about you
have
guys,
to, I can't remember.
how about you guys just talk and maybe come?
Yeah,
back to
we'll
us?
figure out something, come back to you guys.
Yeah, thank you.
'Cause I mean, I'd like to get Craig too, to see what, from graphic detail, what would be the best thing to stick them on.
Because it has that, you know what I mean, it has
Yeah,
that
the
column.
Right.
Could we find a way to attach
Yeah,
on a part of that
yeah.
column?
There might be a way of doing it.
That avoids the easement and all the additional.
Right.
I just want to be careful that we don't put a bunch of signs up, you know, I mean, there's so many different groups that might want to sign up. I mean, it's got to be case by case, but, you know, none of them look shoddy.
Right.
Okay, so you guys will come back and let us know what you're
Mhm.
thinking, figure it out?
Yep.
Okay. Okay, Nick, you got the library?
Yeah, I just want to give an update to the board on the library. We met with the architect, the library district, and Cassie was there too. We discussed the initial plan, so I just wanted to turn this over to the board. These are just rough drafts for what the library project would look like from the architect. Cassie, I think you submitted comments on this already, right?
Yep.
Like your word. What they're looking for is any comments from us, discussions on it, and then they want to really try to wrap this up. And then they can get next week to get a final rough draft to us. So. This is the current building as it sits. If you're looking at the building, you have the existing sidewalk. Here's that entrance, and then the Kelso House over here. So here's where they come in, this is where we're at. What we found when we looked at this was that this, between these two rooms, is a retaining wall. This here is a supporting wall, and these two walls are also supporting walls, the way they have it designed. So you have the wall outside, so essentially, this entire wall and this entire wall can go. The rest of them have to.
Can they put a door through it?
Yeah, so I'll show you what they're looking to do, that's just the lighting. This will be So Cassie has requested that this back corner, so here's the Kelso house, here's the side road, here is us, right? So this would be the community room. In order to have the community room have an occupancy higher than, I want to say it's 4, we need to have a bathroom. So this bathroom currently serves this area. What we would do is add a wall here and make this accessible bathroom with the door now entering this room. And then that brings her occupancy up to 4 feet without having to have access to the library.
Will she be able to lock this off so when she's not using it?
Yeah, so this here will be locked, this will be strictly on the library.
I mean, they won't be able to access it from here.
Correct. Yeah, because this will all be wall in, so they're gonna take that door and we'll. Yeah, she was at the meeting when we talked about this too, she gave comments back.
Where's the other bathroom? Is that it?
Yeah, so we'll talk about bathrooms.
But that meets the requirements over here, does not have one anymore?
Yes, yeah, so this would take care of the community room, we have an egress here, with the egress, because this is gonna be, the community room, this is, as an patio. So what we have to do is remove the fencing here and here, because it's an egress route now. So the fencing can stay across the front if we wanted to, but the sides have to come out so people can get out for evacuation purposes. And then this is, then there's next door over here.
There's no Mexican sign that says Brimfield, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
What do you call that door over there?
I have the sign again.
And then we would just do like a linoleum type thing in this entire room, because Cassie didn't want carpet in there, so we put that in. And then there's cabinets from over here that we can salvage. So this will be all cabinets with new countertops and a refrigerator, so she has plenty of storage space, workspace in there.
For the over 60 yoga.
Then what we looked at doing is removing this wall, and this wall, which opens all of this up. This wall here, remember, is a supporting wall. So what we're gonna do here is we can remove the wall from here to here, and we put 2 supports in there. So it'd be a support beam here and here, which opens this up for faster. Then if we ever wanted to close it up again, they'd be able to drive.
So that's why I hope.
Yeah, it's a big, yeah, it look very similar to this. So this will open up all the way on this side. This is just a temporary layout that the library is working on, this in order for the building department to approve. They want to see where all the bookshelves and stuff are going to go. So they have a company they're paying to do a mock layout for them. But this is just kind of an idea. These would be all bookshelves. This is seating area, bookshelves. This is like the children's area, which is what you want to do. All the front stuff is going to stay the same. Okay, fresh paint, fresh carpet, that kind of stuff. So they'll have a bathroom here that'll be public. And then this bathroom needs to be added in. So there's 2 bathrooms that exist, but they're not handicap accessible. They don't have a sink in them. So they have a toilet, and then the sink was outside. So we would eliminate one of these 2 bathrooms and then extend around this bathroom to get it to the size for handicap accessibility. Yeah. Yeah.
Take the toilet was rest away.
Yeah, so he would just knock that out and give us more room there. And then we would just extend the size of this, and that would give us a shed. The direction this hasn't been determined. I know we had talked about moving this door to this side possibly, because then if she had a larger event, there could be an opening here to allow access into the library for that. So
What's the time frame?
He's trying to get this done by the 15th, maybe beginning of next week to get a final drawing for us to vote on. Then we approve it, we'll put the packet together, send out to bid. So we're trying to get it out to bid by the end of January. So it gives us February to get it in, approve the bids, and then in March, April, start.
I know Charles is pretty good at estimating.
Not officially yet. He said bathrooms are about 10 grand a piece. This here is going to be the big determination. His architect is still doing some work on if we're going to have to drill out and set a larger pad underneath that separate or not. Depending on how big we want that will determine that footprint I need for it.
Was it put in a metal beam or was it laminated heavy wood?
I think he was doing the laminating, because he said it would have, it looked like this, and have that little drop lip to it too, he said, and then we could wall that off later for some reason. He said,
So we got 20 just in bathrooms.
right.
I thought we did 250 out here.
I want to say it was 100, probably inside 150 for the entire project.
So when did the check? I thought it was more than that.
It could have been done wrong. What he said is, it would be better for us just to bid it out, just have one contract to do all of it. The other piece that is the variable right now that we can't determine until we have kind of all this figured out is every room is controlled by its own furnace and air conditioning. So we want to verify, he has a mechanical engineer looking at it right now to see what the airflow is, make sure we're going to be acceptant of enough airflow for the facility. If it is, then we need to get a HVAC person in just to do some maintenance and check out our systems. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 furnaces. Then outside there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 air conditioners. And there's actually a furnace up here too.
Got an electric. Can we break all this out with one unit over here?
So this, yeah, we do it right here. This furnace controls this entire room. This furnace would control this room and opens up, so there's no airflow. But basically, there's a furnace to control each room currently that exists.
Then we just like build out. Because that's our elements there.
Correct. Yes.
Well, it's good.
So, and then like I said, this is really gonna stay the same other than new carpet. They had one request the library did. They have a book drop and book reservation system, basically like an electronic thing that sits over at the plaza. So there's no reason for it to be a plaza anymore. They should bring it over here. But it's got to be undercover. So what they want to do is have out front here. You've seen the new apartments how they have like that mailbox thing and the roof over it. They need to do something like that. I said most likely, in my opinion, they'll bring it to the board because the library would take 8 feet for that building. Because that's not a structure. It's a beams. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be a good spot where that picnic table is, and put it right there on the side of the building, so we walk right up to the sidewalk and put it right in there? There's a picnic table on the side of it.
Yeah, they were thinking here. We originally talked about putting it here because the awning already exists, but then there's that ditch. We don't want to be pulling up and trying to run. We're going to put a sidewalk there. So, but the idea is people can pull up somewhere out front and then run over and drop off. Because then they also get an email with the digital code where you can report your code into the door, open up, and your reserve books are there.
Yeah.
That's why it's got to be undercover.
That's good.
Good deal.
So just looking for feedback. I know Cassie was at the meeting and she gave feedback on what this room would look like. I mean, all this can change, but this is kind of what we came up with. I'd like to see if there's any feedback on that.
I like the township over there, and that's good.
Well, and then we have a door out the back to the playground.
No, they have to come through here to get out back.
So is that just a hallway with the library stuff in it?
No, if you open up this door, it's gonna give you access to all this. When we're doing community events though, like we talked about with Cassidy, is that she would have access keys, emergency keys to get into their facility if she would need to for some reason.
Well, but what we always have gate over here, to the other side of if we were using that playground area, they could just go outside.
Yeah, they could go around this way and get in
Well, they
too.
did the fence taken down, so it looks like one big park.
No, I'm just thinking of how she's running the daycare over there, how they did.
She's got some cool stuff in mind about playground equipment. I don't know if she's ready to speak about it yet, but
I did contact Meyer Design, I know that's something we talked about, I'm waiting for them to get back to me on possibly moving the playground equipment. I did talk to Jonathan, and he doesn't care either way what we decide to do with it. So I just haven't heard back, so I was gonna bring it up probably the next meeting. But,
okay.
they did say, they did come and inspect it and said that the main playground structure and the teeter totters look like they're in good enough condition that they'd be worth moving to another part. They said the swing set would not be worth it. You'd be paying as much as you would get paid for a new swing set to move them to a new location. So, if we did want to move them, to the soccer field or Cranberry Creek, those are the two places I had in mind. It's doable. He said the majority of the cost is going to come from the base, so the ramps and the mulch and all that.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, so once I hear that.
When we all talked about it, we also sort of thought the best location would be the athletic fields.
Yeah, it kind of makes sense. It's right there.
Yeah, kids and stuff.
Well, if we had the pavilion up too, the idea was up in that upper corner there, because they can access the pavilion. So, but yeah, so any comments, I'll leave this with John, so whoever John says he wants to look at it. But I'm trying to get comments in by the end of this week, beginning of next week, so that Charles get it, so, okay.
Yeah.
Well, we're not, it was just, because I'll bring final drawings for some vote on. But this, he just needed to make sure everybody's good with this. And then he was gonna go get on.
Just more of them.
Great. He's 6 next year.
Good job.
So.
Okay. Zoning.
All right, thanks, Mike. So first item I have is request board approval to turn over 4618 State Route 43 to the prosecutor's office for follow-up. Emailed the pictures to you guys. We first sent the letter in June, or I'm sorry, summer, to clean up, and this is the Randy Dean property on State Route 43. It wasn't that bad. It looked like he started to clean up a little bit, but then we ended up setting the second notice on November 22nd. And this is what it looks like today, or yesterday. So it's a mess. So I know Randy Dean's reached out to me, but I think we should start to follow up with the prosecutor.
I mean, when I drive by, I thought it was all his workers, but those cars never move.
No.
This has been going on since they've met.
Is he in business?
I'm sorry, what was
Is he
that?
still in business?
As far as I know, yeah.
He just keeps moving locations is what he does, right? Mike, is there any limitations on how long we have if they move to a different location? Rules that apply?
As far as location of him moving his,
Like if the one where down by the landscape or the Pazooties, if we had something going with that and he vacates that and goes to another place, does that file have to start all over again?
well, see, the one with Pazooties, we sent off to the prosecutor and he pulled building permits. So that got him to the
We
point
kind of
where,
moved all of his stuff out of the Pazooties building too. We moved it all
yeah,
down there.
yeah, it's actually started to look pretty good. He actually was doing work there and actually renovated the building, and then
So if you do
He's still-
this and he starts moving it back there, does that?
we have to recite it.
So it's like a process every time that.
Every
it's a different
time we
location.
if it gets cleaned up, even if it's for 2 days and then it goes a mess again, then I have to redo it.
That's a pain.
That's a mean dog.
Oh, that looks like a.
Yeah, we didn't get out of the truck.
Yeah, it was new. I would like to make a motion that we approve does 4618 State Route 43 property go to the prosecutor's office for a follow-up.
Okay, I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick,
Yes.
motion passed.
Thanks. And then Brimfield bread oven, the exterior roof alterations, they're still under construction. Looks great. I think the building's going to look good. Hickory Hill subdivision continues selling homes in their development. The signs are now complete, the 2 entrance signs. And then phase 2 was approved at the last BZA meeting. And
Crazy how many homes are going up there.
yes, yeah, they're going pretty quick.
So there's a market for high-end homes.
There is. And we're looking at next meeting having the 2022 year-end report for economic development zoning done. So,
Hey, Mike, is the Brimfield bread oven gonna take the whole building over, or is it just, they're just doing?
looks like the whole building, when signage, everything's going to be updated. So
I mean, I know they moving part of the restaurant up to the front. of
they
it.
haven't said anything to
I
me
didn't know
about
if they were
that.
just gonna lease those out.
I think he's just leasing them out.
Okay.
And then he's got a lot next door as well. He's looking for a commercial building.
So are they putting more dining room in, or?
They haven't said anything to me about that. I just seen the exterior drawings.
Yeah, they got great pizza. You ever had that pizza on Saturday?
Yeah,
Or
it's good.
stuff.
Now, is he the landlord of that building now? Is he
I
own
believe
it?
so. Mhm.
Brimfield Red Oven?
No, it's the contractor doing it. So,
Definitely looks good.
mhm.
Doesn't look like the old Eagles club.
Or Safe 4?
I'll say it before, I never knew that.
Yeah, Safe 4 was there in the front part for
Wow.
years.
Yep, and then I'll get you guys openings. Valvoline's gonna open soon, so I'll let you know on that.
And,
Are we close on all these? There's a lot of
We're
stuff
waiting.
still.
Aldi's is pretty much ready to go. I think fire, I didn't talk to Ron or anything, but I think everything's ready to go. The only thing we're waiting on is electrical stuff. So, it's on a boat somewhere is what I heard, so. And so they're looking end of February right now, by the time they get their parts in and everything else.
early February?
No, end of February is what they're talking, hopefully.
I get a lot of questions about that.
Yeah, it's ready to go. I mean, it's just
People
kind
are
of waiting.
excited.
Yeah.
Apparently they got great pizza too.
Yeah, they do.
Well, try one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, their pre-made pizzas are really good.
yeah, they're really good.
that's what I heard.
Yeah, I'm telling
College kids love them. But
I've
they
had 'em,
also
they're
like
good,
ramen
yeah.
noodles. So, yeah, no. Okay, well, thank you, Mike.
you. Sure.
Okay, road department. Hey.
All righty. I'm gonna jump to this one first. The road certification mileage for 2022 was correct. What he handed to me for 44 miles, 0.751 miles. I need trustees to sign, and we'll send it over to the county commissioners. Mickey Marazzi in the state. I went through, we didn't add no roads last year.
We do.
What was the exact mileage? I'm sorry, I think.
Oh, I'd have to read it.
44.751.
And you said it has not changed,
It has not changed. This year we'll be adding mileage to it.
Okay, well, I'm gonna go ahead and make that motion.
You need to sign the top.
That we approve the mileage at 44 miles, 0.751.
I'll second that.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
That's it. I might as well, I was looking for board approval for purchasing a new dump truck. Every year we go down to the township show and they have demo trucks. What I was looking at is if there would happen to be a truck down there that would fit us, I would like the board's approval where I can move ahead and buy a demo truck. Our dump truck 24, we had some pretty good issues with it during the last snowstorm. It only made it 2.5 hours before it was broke down. So we had to move to a different truck. I just like to have where I could purchase one because a lot of times you can get the demos cheaper because they're a demo truck, but they have all the bells and whistles on them, just like what we order. But it's one of them things, if nothing fits, it's not, I'm just going to buy a truck because I want to buy a truck. and it'd have to fit us, is what I was looking at. I've already talked to John and stuff, and we have a dump truck coming off this, at the end of this year, so we'd be looking to buying a new one here in the future. Off the load, yes. So,
Plus, he doesn't have to wait. If he buys a demo, it's ready to go.
Right. See, the last few years we've been down there, they've had demo trucks that fit us perfect. But by the time, you know, you come back through and whittle through, like, get things straightened out, it's, somebody else has already jumped on.
Those are pretty discounted too.
Right, and they're in a good
And
price.
loaded.
Right. They actually have more bells and whistles than what I order because, well, they want to show what they have.
So you're just looking for like a pre-approval?
Pre-approval, yes. And then say if I did walk in there, I could walk in and say, hey, that's the truck. I'd like, you know, I have a PO, I can move forward with it.
And then we would go get financing for that truck. We're not paying cash for it, but if we found one, we would go out and get financing right away.
Do we have a dollar amount that we're gonna set as kind of a max? I mean, because it's potentially.
About 200,000. It'd be the max. Most of the time, them trucks fall between 150, but the price of trucks and everything went sky high again on us, so.
Right, yes, that was my question.
Right. So I figured if we set it at 200, I mean, now, like I said, our last new truck was close to 180. So that's a buffer zone. That's with us ordering a Pacific, so.
Okay. So how do we word this?
We're just writing a purchase order. We're approving a purchase order for $200,000 for possible acquisition of a truck.
And like I said, if there's something there, if it's not for us, it ain't like I'm just gonna buy it because I have a thing. It has to fit us. If not, we'll go through the process of looking into purchasing a new truck and having to go through the year-long wait kind of thing again.
Okay, do we have a second?
Yes, I can second that.
Any more questions at all?
I think he's smart.
All those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Motion passed.
Just a few things. We'll go right into the next thing. We had 3 truck issues during the last big storm. We have everything corrected now. We're ready for the next one. Again, like I said, dump truck 23, bearings went out of it, this and that. We finally got it put back together. One of our newer dump trucks, it had an emissions problem. Rush Trucking took care of that. It's all put back together. And plus my pickup truck had some major issues through that storm where we lost 4-wheel drive, starter. It's everything's back up and running again. So we're all set for the next storm. Again, like I said, I just don't feel reliable with dump truck 24 anymore. That's my whole problem. I hate to see a guy out like that -7 and have to try to find a way to tow him back home. So as of right now, we've gotten 400 ton of salt in. We got 200 before the last storm. We went ahead and piggybacked another 200, make sure we're in plenty good shape. We took down all the Christmas lights. We've been out fixing some of our plow damage from the first storm. It was very hard to see some of the times when you were plowing. I couldn't even see my plow in front of my pickup truck. It was a pretty nasty little storm. So we fixed some of the damage we caused already real quick. That way people are caught up with the weather. We've been doing a little bit of coal patching. We cleaned off a bunch of catch basins in the Beach Crest allotment and both sections off of Brimfield and off of 43. And one of the issues, 99% of the people have moved their basketball hoops, or we moved them before the storm. I just have one individual who keeps wanting to put his back. Actually, this morning I told the guys to go move it again. I mean, I was discussing some with Mike. Next time I might load it up and take it. I mean, it's in our road right away to keep sticking out. It's getting to be a safety hazard because even the buses, I mean, it's right there where it's a bad place to have it.
What's
So,
it, what street is it?
Duffield,
Brimfield?
yes. So we've moved it and we put 2 signs on it. Each time we put a sign on, they just rip it off.
I mean, it's your road, by the way.
Right. It's actually an obstruction, you know, it's a danger like that last storm. We had a turn for the last storm. Like I said, we went out Thursday and moved everything out our way. But if you would have not have seen that, if you were out plowing during that wind blowing
I
like
mean,
that.
is there anything that the police can do?
I
mean,
I
can we
did.
legally take it, or is that gonna be a problem with the police?
I don't know if we're gonna legally take it, I mean, unless you want to consider it abandoned property, but obviously one of the neighbors there probably just put it up.
But if
out
it's a
there, right?
safety concern,
So,
Well, I did talk to Officer Putman yesterday. He was gonna do a call, not a call, but a courtesy thing, go out and ask them if they could move it.
okay.
I don't know if he
You
got a
talked to
hold of,
Robert yesterday?
yeah.
All right, I'll follow up with him today and see if he's able to make.
I don't know if he got a hold of anybody during the day, it's hard to say. But we went ahead, I told my guys to move it this morning. It was still.
Yeah, I think moving is one thing, I just get concerned.
Well,
take it,
I
it's
don't-
not a legal problem.
In all honesty, I really don't want to take it, but if the guy keeps putting it back, it becomes a safety issue for me, school buses, anybody with a high vehicle.
it's a safety concern. It has to stay off the road.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing. How do you say it? I don't want to be the bad guy and have to come back someday with a resolution, no basketball hoops in the road right away.
That guy.
But it's just one. I mean, everybody else has left theirs out of our way, and most time, once we start hanging the thing, people pull them off the road. They get, they know.
Is it just pretty much the one subdivision?
Oh, no, pretty much all of our subdivisions have them, but they all move them out of the way. And say, well, normally when we go hang the papers on them, they get moved pretty quick.
Did you give the officer the specific address you think it's
Yes.
associated with?
Mhm.
Okay. I'll follow up on it today, see what he was able to find out, if anything. If he wasn't, then it may be an afternoon shift officer if those folks aren't home during the day.
Okay, yeah, because I hate to say if I turn it off the road again today and then they spin it back tonight, I have weather coming Thursday and Friday. So, and like I said, if a dump truck hits it, the truck's out of commission if it breaks the windshield or does damage to the truck where I got to get it fixed. So that's the only thing I'm worried about is I don't want another truck down just because of a basketball.
Well, let me know if there's anything you could do.
Well, we need to establish, how long it's been out there. It's been out there a year, 2 years.
Oh,
We can put
it's
it
out there.
I mean, as
Yeah.
far as, charging somebody, I don't know that's really a road we're gonna be able to go.
Well,
down.
I don't think we can charge them. I just want to
Yeah, we want it off the road.
courtesy, come on, help us out.
Right.
We don't want to have to come back with a resolution
Have you called
eliminating
Chad?
everybody. No, I haven't talked to Chad
You
yet. I've
call
just,
Chad and see what you can do.
well, I think in all honesty, however I could, I could call it a safety issue and I could take care of the safety issue. It's like a tree branch hanging out of your yard in the roadway. I can come cut it down because it's causing a safety issue on the road.
For a 10-minute conversation with Chad, you didn't
Right.
know what you could legally stand on.
But it's just one of them things. I'm not trying to be the Grinch on everybody. I just move it for my guys who are safe. That's all. I'm worried about my guys being, school bus drivers, garbage truck drivers. You're in a blizzard, you can't see that stuff. So maybe my truck might accidentally drive off the road and push it over. I don't know. Well, they had one a couple years ago. They had up and we moved it. They moved it back, but then we had a big winds that come from the right direction, blew it over and broke it. This time though, they have a lot of weight on the thing. That's not going to blow over. So
What street was that on?
Duffield.
It's right on the curb, isn't it?
Yes.
Got anything more, Dave?
Nope. That's take care of all my
Hey,
business.
Dave, I just wanted to quickly, Dave and I had talked to Charles and our thoughts of, putting the new road garage over by the new piece of property, it'll fit. So.
Does it take, when I was looking at it, does it take part of the parking lot that's there now? Like where the volleyball court is?
Oh, no, it's down towards the,
I didn't know how far it went back with there.
Oh.
it's that new piece of property.
Right, but I didn't know where right in the back of it is where the volleyball courts are.
I think you're just looking at.
No, it'd be short of water towers and everything.
Okay.
It's just be that wooded section.
Plus, one of the exciting things about them, I don't know if we talked about it, we're close to water and sewer, closer to water and sewer. So for a lot of these issues that the EPA is,
You gotta get
For
rid of
us.
those anyway, yeah.
right, and whenever, you get a chance where or if I can talk to that guy, we just, like, Dave and I just want to get some numbers put together so we can look, you know what I mean? Just to get it, we don't need an exact payment, we just need an estimate, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we can all sit down and talk and just make sure, the last thing I want to do is go for another levy.
Yeah, and I don't want to push for a levy either.
Right, so,
But
Dave's issue is there, so, and Charles did bring us, copy of the plans for Stowe, which we'd love to have, but it had the actual type of building that ODOT uses, which is very interesting. Dave wish he had that many trucks, but
I'd have a truck on every street if I had that many.
yeah. So, but it's interesting, so we'll keep you advised as we move on. So, and Dave, I think Dave and I, and maybe eventually take a trip over to look at one of the ODOT projects. If anybody wants to see them. Yeah. So, okay, that's all I had.
Oh, and one more, Howe Road, East Howe Road between 43 and Sherman. It'll be completely open today. We're just finishing up the last of the tree work. We had 5 dead trees during the storm that were breaking off and falling on power lines. So we got them eliminated. So we're just cleaning up the rest of the wood and some of the debris today. I had to have Kunzman Tree Company come in. They're 60 feet high and in wire. So, and they were all sitting on our right of way. That's, of course, you know how that is. The homeowner, hey, them are yours. So, but they were a very bad nuisance. What they were. So,
Right.
after that, that's all I got.
Thanks, Dave. Parks,
I see on the agenda that you had this on the agenda and I also had
the park
the
proposal.
pavilion. Would you like to talk about it?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Jump in if I'm saying something wrong.
Sure.
Okay, we got together with Charles and he gave us some suggestions of some shelters. And the thing I liked about the shelters, birds can't crap all over the picnic tables. They're a preformed building and there will be a lot less design costs going into it because it's already been designed. I went over to, it's in Del Durbin,
Mhm.
and I guess it's in Stowe. I thought it was in Monroe Falls,
It's
but
like right on the border.
right. It's a very nice shelter. And he said, well, what size are we building? I can't remember.
20 by 40,
20 by 40,
40 by 20.
which would be a good sized building. I mean, theirs looks a lot different than ours because they're going to the extra expense putting in restrooms, which would be tough for us. Trying to fit in within the budget. So what I did was I had Charles put up a proposal from the Oak Group. There's not just a total dollar cost because it's different than building a real building because most of the architectural stuff is there. So what he did was gave us a cost, hourly cost, and so with that, to that end, I think did he send this to everybody? Did you guys get it? Okay. Okay, well, this is just for we have to get drawings done. We have to get all this stuff, because I'd really like to get going on this. Cassie and I have been working on it for a bit, and done a lot of talking with Charles and looking at facilities and stuff. I mean, if you guys want to look, you can go down to Waterworks Park. You can see them in there. The newest one is, like I said, Del Durbin, which I told you guys before about. So it's a beautiful structure. It's actually modern. That's nice. It is. And so, if we had gone to the custom built one, we'd still have a shelter, but we'd have to do something up at the top, as a ceiling, and if not, you're gonna have, I got a barn, I got crap everywhere. You can't blame birds for wanting to get out of the elements, so, and that's just, to me, that's sanitary, you have your picnic there, and you got scrub up birds with them, so I was going to make a motion that we approve the contract with Oak, the Oak Group, to get this stuff going. But the big thing is we're pressed for time because it's a 16-week before you can even get the shelter put in. The one thing Charles put in there is that he would be there weekly to check on it, make sure it's put together the right way. There are some road departments that put them together themselves, but nothing against our road department, there's only limited people there, and their plate is full. So,
So does he do the same thing like they're doing with the library, takes it out to bid and does all those kinds of things?
well, there won't be a bid because it's a set price.
We're just purchasing that?
Yeah.
Is there a bid to install it or?
Well, he's gonna look, we're gonna put, I think minimal electricity in, at least enough for,
Crock pot?
yep, and the big issue, which, wasn't apparent to us till, Cassie and I and Dave, and I invited Laura and had that little meeting in reference to the athletic fields. And he told me the one thing, which I completely forgot about, we have to have this handicap accessible.
Well,
And
we
that-
probably have to have parking lot, don't we,
Right,
somewhere?
well, I'm gonna just talk about that next, I mean, Cassie and I. You know, so, I mean, Charles is a great guy, I mean, he brings things to mind so we don't make the mistake and have to redo it later. And handicap parking isn't just the pavilion, it's the access by cars to the handicap site. You know, so it's, he was enlightening. So I thought it was a great meeting. Cassie had great questions. She came up with some great ideas, and Charles even liked them. So I just need a second for discussion.
Second.
So it says that the professional service fees for this to complete the proposed scope of the work will be $12,250.
But that's not the final, you know, because when we decide exactly what we need, that's why he put in the hourly. Because that doesn't include the electric, that doesn't include,
It does calculate, because it says that the hourly or services or changes by the owner not included in the above scope of work. Under the scope of work was electrical engineering, design of electrical systems, work is included.
right, but that, at this point, we haven't even decided what electrical service goes into it, so.
Right, yeah, this is just.
I just don't want you guys to think that's the final cost.
Right.
I mean, it should be, because, right or wrong, I mean, he said that also included it. I mean, the concrete, that, what did he say about concrete? I can't remember, do you?
I believe he said at Adele Durbin, they put the concrete down, didn't they, themselves?
No, I
It wasn't
remember.
included in the package, and the roofing also was not.
He gave us so
I
much
remember.
information, I just.
Yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the way I read this contract was that it's $12,500 for him to assess the situation, do the electrical engineering and structural engineering, which means the outlay of what the pad would look like, what the building would look like, prepare documents to the building department. Then we'd have another motion to accept the building after the proposed cost of the building come in. This is just to get to us, it's $12,500 to get to the point of getting the final proposal.
Right,
cost of the building.
but I think it still could go up a bit with the changes we decide. So,
Well, we're doing the same process we did for the library
Right.
with him. We signed that to get the bid or the drawings from it.
what was the cost for the library? I can't even remember. 25?
I don't know, and I have too many numbers, but I'll go look at it. I don't remember.
I know, I mean, that sticks in my head. So,
Okay, so it's $12,250 to get the drawings done, or a little more, Pete, if we ask for things beyond the scope of the
I don't know, we put it for a little higher?
We're just approving his contract, which would have that amount in there and the additional charges if needed, so.
Yeah, because he does outline the additional charges, so accepting those charges.
Okay.
So Mike's got it out there, Sue seconded. Anybody have any other questions on it, or Nick, you got anything else?
No.
Okay, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
So we gotta assign these. Do you wanna have Charles, get this to Charles?
Yeah.
So we can get him started on it? I think he was gonna call that company and start some of the stuff, trying to get the final stuff. What did he tell us? He thought that building would be about under 75, right?
Yeah,
Something like that.
I think it'd depend on what we'd have to do with the roofing as well. I think we discussed a couple different options for that.
And we talked about steel.
Yeah,
Then with the steel, I don't understand, because sometimes, I mean, shingles are 30-year warranties and so is steel.
Mhm.
So I don't know. You just sort of have to decide
Yeah.
which, I mean, steel looks cool.
yeah.
So. Okay. So, you want to talk about the soccer? Or you want me to start on that? The soccer fields?
We,
That goes.
actually, we need to read
Oh, yeah.
your motion there, Mike, because this is ARP money. That's ARP money.
Okay, so what do we need to
So we
do?
need to do this resolution is what we have to do. I'm just gonna read it. To be resolved by the Township Trustees of Brimfield Township, whereas the date of January 11th, 2023, Mike Kostensky, move to adopt the following resolution, whereas the township receives a distribution of monies of ARP fund from the American Rescue Plan of 2021, whereas Congress passed the act to effective 3/11/21, and whereas Section 603 created in the Coronavirus Local Fiscal Recovery Fund, which, among other things, it appropriates monies to cities, non-entitlement units of local government, and counties have migrated to the fiscal effects stemming from the public health emergency with respect to the coronavirus disease. And whereas Section 603C generally provides that the use of funds subject to the paragraph and except as provided in the paragraphs 3 and 4, a metropolitan city, non-entitled unit of government agency or county shall use these funds provided under the payment made under the section to cover costs incurred by the metropolitan non-entitled unit of local government and county by December 31st of 2024. So that's the resolution. It's a 5-page resolution, but this is what we'll insert in that, and it's going to be for public infrastructure support. I mean, it's a pavilion for one of our parks, or it's actually could be under the park recreational facilities. That's actually the one that we should check. So I'm going to insert that in place of this, and that money will go against the ARPA money that we had, because that was all part of it, the pavilion too. That would count. So that'll be my motion. Yeah. So Sue, are you still good with seconding that? Okay, let's just take the vote again, just to make sure. All in favor, Mike?
Yes.
Sue?
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
Okay. So we had the other meeting. Cassie, do you want to start it off or?
Sure. Do you want to talk about the parking lot or the pavilion
Yeah.
location? Or both?
Yeah, I was just gonna, I mean, this was just part of our meeting. So there was a few things we, after talking to Charles, we really probably need to change. You know, correct me if I'm wrong. The setup of the athletic fields are just where we were gonna put the shelter, et cetera, is just not gonna work when it comes to the handicap. The big thing is, with that, Dave, what's that drive that goes back to the new development?
Well, I'm sorry, what's
Town
that, something
Square?
going on?
Town Square, Town Center.
You know, Mike, where that big,
The dead end.
the dead end, which street is that?
Town Square.
Town Square.
Yeah. Here, pass that down to me. Down to Town Square. So they're gonna start building. It's gonna be a mess. Technically, I asked Mike if we were a normal, if somebody else had just come in and wanted to put it in a soccer field, zoning most likely would have made them put it in a parking lot. Am I right?
But it's got to go to the BZA and put a parking lot.
So I just want to make sure as we move forward and make a premier facility that we do it the right way. So number one, right away, Charles hit us up with the handicap. So you have to have handicap close to handicap parking. So his suggestion, and Cassie, and they both came up with it, was to move the shelter. You guys, Sue, do you know where you're at on this?
Yes, I do.
To move the shelter down there.
Yeah, it would be the building that's filled in with the green, not the dashes. That was like another proposed thing we talked about. So.
Right. So, and then two, if you're looking at it to the right, would be the handicap or the restrooms, which Dave said would provide good access from this road there.
We already have that road right there, don't we?
Right. But see, if we put the parking lot here, like where he suggested, you know, it just flows better, because it's not gonna flow up there. I mean, we will have to push the field back a little bit. But, you know, this is just our conceptual. So I just wanted you all to see it so you understand where we're working. I mean, there's been a lot of talk about that metal shipping container. I might as well get that out there. So why is it our township's responsibility to provide people with storage? I mean, I don't think we provide storage for people down there at Jansen Road facility for soccer, do we?
No.
And then it was also presented as a safety issue. God forbid some little kid gets stuck in there, and just said the temperature's 120, 130 degrees. So these are all just some issues we need to work with. There could come a point where Cleveland Clinic tells us they don't want us using their parking lot. So, I mean, that's fully within their rights. So I think as a township, we need to at least provide some kind of parking. And the wet area over there just wouldn't provide enough space. And I think Charles said something about that would work well for water runoff for the parking lot.
Mm-hmm.
Am I missing anything?
No, I just wanted to agree with the parking situation. I think with the new development coming in, and I think we've been relying on the kindness of everyone around us with the parking situation. It hasn't become an issue as far as I know yet. So I think putting this in now before it becomes an issue is a good idea.
I mean, when you're gonna have dump trucks going up and down that
Right.
street, and it's gonna be a mess for a while, right? Mike?
Yeah.
What kind of traffic are we expected out of that development, do you think? After
I mean-
we build all that, is that gonna just be a main drag again? or-
You got roughly 100 units, so it's going to be an access there, and then there's going to be the other access off of the other town square, east and
You think
west.
people are gonna start using that access to cut through to get to Chapman Farms and Sterling Green?
No, they won't be able to get through there that way, but if you're going down the street, the town square past Wendy's, you'll be able to access into there. We're going to repave that road
So we could pull in off of 43 and make it back all the way to the
apartments. Yeah, so with the TIF, and I'm going to be working on it again. I have a meeting with Mark today because we're 100% sure that TIF was going to generate enough money for lighting as well as paving and then putting the sidewalks in. But as we just got the final numbers and started looking at that again, it is doable. So yeah, they'll be paving that town square drive as well as putting sidewalks on the other one and then adding lighting.
And Mike and I had talked briefly, and just as one trustee, I thought the lights we already have up in the.
Yeah,
I mean, there's no point in reinventing them. I mean, they're good lights.
well, they have to meet ESA stuff from Miles.
right. And that is on also in the reason for the meeting, with Mark today is Thursday night. We're starting to discuss the town center lighting and everything at the zoning commission level. And trying to get all the lighting and sidewalks throughout there.
Right.
How many parking spaces is that?
This would hold, it'll roughly 60.
60.
Now, this is not something we can really dilly-dally on, because when Charles gets to the point for the contract, he's gonna have to know where the spot goes. So that's why we got together with them and we chatted just to make sure we're all on the same page. And then, Mike, we invited Lauren in.
Yeah,
And she gave us some great information.
good.
So, you've trained her well.
Yeah, she's getting there.
Yeah, I just don't want us to put the cart in front of the horse.
Yeah.
We gotta do this the right way.
Right. I think, BZA's got to take a look at that as well. I mean, they're going to look at the parking and everything you have there.
So Charles, when he gets this done, so we should have that submitted to you, right?
Yeah, so Charles will submit to me, and then we'll put it in front of the board, and then
So let's make
whether
sure we do
Cassie
that.
comes or whoever, it's fine.
Okay, so we'll make sure we do that, so. Is there any questions? Okay,
That sounds good.
okay. And then the other thing, while we're mentioning this,
I didn't get a copy of that.
so since we were talking soccer, so the one thing I asked, and I talked to Cassie, and we need to, I mean, there's a liability issue with that field. It is a Brimfield Township field. It needs to, we can't just let people pick and choose when they're gonna be there, who they're gonna be there, and without letting Cassie know what's going on. So, as she did with baseball, I'm afraid she's gonna have to do the same with soccer and just tie things together. I mean, you know what I mean, yeah, we just can't have
You have to have reservations out there because those are public
the public facilities.
fields. Anybody could be out there unless you paid a fee to have it.
Right, so Cassie's been doing great. She's started doing networking with other, she can tell you about
Do we
that.
have a field charge for that field on there at all?
We don't have that field up on the website yet. This is like, I feel like part of the much bigger issue as far as field reservations, because the current issue that I have is it's so hard to regulate because our fields are first come, first serve. I mean, technically everyone could just bypass me and make their own schedule and rent out however they want.
Well, but if somebody rented the baseball field from you and paid a fee, that's their ticket to kick anybody off that public field.
Correct, and that is where the issue would, which I believe did happen once this season. There was another team using the field that rented it, and then soccer showed up to pay, and I'm not sure who had the reservation, but.
Yeah, we need to do that or it'll turn into a nightmare.
But you did a good job with baseball. I mean, you've got it more under control than it's ever been.
Baseball works pretty well together. Most of the groups, the athletic association and the travel ball teams are pretty, actually some of those coaches are coaches on the other teams too, and they all work really well together. So generally they work with me also and have their schedules ready before the season and just get them to me.
Do you want to tell them about your meetings or?
Yeah, Aaron and I are just working this year. We're trying to network with other organizations. I met with Kent Parks and Rec yesterday and talked to Garen over there about how they run their sports leagues and things. And he had a lot of good suggestions for me. And we might be working with them on some things and meeting with Talmadge Parks and Rec next week and just bouncing ideas off of people and hopefully getting some partnerships in the future. So.
You know, Talmadge is gonna be all about being everybody to the park over there now.
Yes, that's what she said when I talked to her. She's like, I heard you have some new property. I'm like, I do, actually. Let's talk about it. So.
I think that's great, your networking. I mean, that's a piece we've always needed, especially, if they're being JED partners,
Sure.
Okay, well, you can go to the rest of your stuff.
Okay. Actually, along that same vein, my next item is Parks Committee. I just realized we have so much parks development going on right now and so many great minds here that I think should be working together. I know I work very closely with Mike and Dave. And so I thought it would make sense for us to get together on a regular basis monthly. And every department is invited, of course, but those three, we work very closely together. So I think just getting that together, I'll get a schedule together and let everybody know when those meetings would be. But to just discuss, especially the development of McGuire Park, I know is, or whatever we're going to call it, no official name yet, but soccer fields, Brimfest, all of these things. I think there's just so much happening that I think we should all touch base regularly. So,
I think it's you that you want it too.
yes.
If I'm around, I'll go in.
Yeah.
If I'm busy, sorry. Well,
Everyone's invited to participate. So
me too. Suit, me too.
I think we get a lot of productive things done when we're all in a room together. So.
Yeah, I mean, that meeting we had, that was great.
Next update, Brimfest updates. I'm starting to reaching out to everybody we had last year at the event and reaching out to new contacts. I also wanted to touch base. I know there was a question of when field homecoming is. It does not conflict with Brimfest this year. So, and actually I talked to Kent Parks and Rec yesterday and they asked me when their date was because they wanted to make sure it didn't conflict with Art in the Park because apparently things you find out only when you talk to people. They wait for us to announce when Brimfest is so that they don't conflict with Art in the Park. So that's another event that we need to make sure we talk to our neighbors about when we schedule. And just real quick, past programs, we had a full moon hike on the 6th, this past Friday, which we had a surprising 25 people show up for, which was really fun. And we walked back in the Cranberry Creek kind of trails, sort of ATV trails. And although we couldn't see the full moon, it was a really good time. We had hot chocolate.
And it got lost.
And got a little lost, yes, but got everybody back. That we just took a wrong turn. So, and saw a possum. So that was great. Connecting with nature. Wonderful. And then upcoming programs, we have a backyard birds open house here on the 21st. And then we have a hot chocolate bar and board games program on the 31st. So
All here.
all here, yes.
It's good.
And that's all.
Anybody got any questions for guys?
What time is the hot chocolate bar and board game?
Oh, we talked about food. I think.
Oh, yes.
I think it's from 6 to 8. I'll have to double check. But.
I had a lady ask about if we're having any more wine and paint nights. I don't remember having wine and paint nights.
We had paint nights. We didn't have wine and paint nights, but maybe she had the wine after and just didn't tell us.
Yeah, I didn't remember us having a paint night there, did you?
Yeah, we did. I know John and Nick
Yeah,
came.
we painted out in the pavilion.
Yeah, you painted a little like American flag.
Oh, she
thing.
said it.
I still have it in
She
my
said it
office.
was in here. So.
Oh, we were down at the Lions Park.
Hmm.
Out in the pavilion.
I said I imagined too. So. You really don't need many more ideas. Okay. Y'all got that? Good.
That's all.
Cemetery, we have no business?
No.
John, you have anything on fiscal? When can everyone start spending again?
Everybody started spending, you saw those checks and everybody said to
I
get
saw.
into temporary appropriations, but the bank statement is supposed to be here the 12th, so we can close out 22. Then I'll have all the final numbers. I already have all my reports, so I can put together the temporary 2023 budget, and then I'll get together with all department heads to work through their portion of it, and then we'll come back to you guys. So that'll get started soon.
Well, thanks,
Hey,
John.
John, since our financial audit came back for 2019 and 2020, I've had some conversations with the state auditor, Stephen Birch.
Okay.
And he suggested that I should request to attend the opening audit when we start the next ones, just so I have a better understanding of what's happening with those. So I'd like to be there when we have the opening audit for this upcoming one.
Okay.
Also, just a reminder, I asked for those financial reports, I still haven't gotten those for November, December, October, November, December.
Oh, you wanted them all retroactive? You just-
Yeah, I put in there one of those retroactive ones and then the ones every 2 weeks. They're PDF right out of the UA system. And show me how they do that.
We'll look at those, and there are some out there that you're not even gonna need this, because there's no budget in there, so none of that stuff for 23 isn't gonna mean anything right now, because it's all temporary stuff, and there's, funds balance will be out there, but the appropriation sheet won't mean anything until we set up the final budget stuff, but I'll check on those.
Okay, and then lastly, have we ever thought about doing a pre-audit before the auditor comes in, so that maybe we can catch some of these findings, so we don't end up with as many findings on our budgetary report?
Some of those, their findings in management letter stuff are different things. I mean, the general, hey, you put this in the wrong fund, you coded it the wrong way, those are just, we have thousands and thousands of transactions that go through. So I don't think those are ever gonna go away. We can just try to get better at them. If you knew of anything that was out there that was a problem, if we had some, they always send that letter out to you guys asking, hey, if you know of anything that you wanna bring up to the auditors ahead of time, that's where you can put your information in there to them. In regards to a pre-audit of us, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know what they're gonna look at half the time. But no, I don't wanna do that. I mean, that's just, we try to do the best on those, and that's actually a recommendation, and I've found over the years that different auditors have different recommendations for us, and different auditors say things are good, and different auditors say they're not good. So it all depends. We had when the Cantor and Associates was 100%, we did this the right way. When the auditor said we did it the wrong way, 2 auditors telling me different things. So those are recommendations for us to do better, unless there's a material finding out there for something. But all those other things, hey, you coded this the wrong way, those are. So my roundabout answer to that is no, I don't think we need one of those meetings, and I don't really want one.
So material findings, so material weaknesses, material findings, those are the ones that we put an action plan together to solve.
So those are, hey, you put it in the wrong fund. I mean, you put it in the wrong account within the fund. We never have any fund discrepancies at all. So all the money's in the pot, we just put it in the wrong department in that pot. So as long as the money's in the right fund, it just has to be switched. So like if we coded a receipt into donations versus, I'm just making these up, but JED distribution. I mean, those would be coded wrong, but they all still went into the same fund, the same bucket. So all the money's still there. We administratively
Just to
might have put it
clarify.
in the wrong category. And we have thousands and thousands of transactions that go on there every day. So as long as everything's in the fund, and if you look at those, there aren't any fund differentials where the money was put in the wrong account. They might have just had it written in there the wrong way or written up or put in the UAN system the wrong way, but it was still in the right category. So if it was a police revenue or an expense, it was still taken out of the police. It might have just been in the wrong category where they wanted it to be in a different category. And again, some auditors want it one way, some of them want it a different way. It depends on which one we use. So as long as any of those that you're finding, there won't be any of them out there that say they're in the wrong fund. They're going to say they're maybe categorized internally in the fund in the wrong category. So.
And then, do we have an update on the stipend piece yet, or is it still sitting in the courts?
Still sitting with him, with Greg. I sent him a copy of the signed audit probably 2.5 weeks ago. He requested another copy of it, so I sent it to him.
Okay.
So it's all in Greg Beck's. There's nothing, I haven't heard anything either. It's supposed to go to the Portage County Prosecutor's Office first if they want to do something, or if they want to pass, or if then it goes up the line. I haven't even heard if it went to them yet. So,
Yeah, I'm just looking for an update. Just see what we're-
yeah, so that's one of those things that, yeah, we need to get clarification on that with all the other items. They all are part of that same, lawsuit thing that I didn't know what to call it, this fight of our audit.
Okay. All right, that's all I have for that.
Okay.
Okay. Well, before we close the meeting, is there any questions from the audience?
I'm just listening today, people talking about making, Greg making 2-3 requests, Dave having issues with basketball courts. Those people are just going to argue until they get it right. So, just, it's an observation of, my years of experience. If you don't put it right, you don't have anything. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Don't we already have stuff in writing in regards to snow bans and parking and mystery stuff out the road during those days?
What's that?
Absolutely, yeah, signs out there.
Yeah, we have
So I
signs.
mean, that would have kicked out the basketball.
Yeah, it just says no parking. You need to get signs that says no basketball.
We'll have signs up and down all the streets.
And no skateboarding stuff, no, there'd be a whole list. It's just, I would have thought if you'd have got asked by Dave to please keep this out of the road, I would have thought that would have been a
I was
request.
saying, I ran into a pickup truck and broke the back and say, now you can't play basketball.
Well, like I said, the year before, it blew over. By spring, they had a new one sitting there, so.
Duffield.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, we have nothing else before the board. I'm gonna make a motion that we end this meeting.
I'll second that.
You know, all those in favor, Mike,
Yes.
Nick, or Sue,
Yes.
Nick?
Yes.
We are, motion pass adjourned at 9:34.
Okay. How's your dad? Getting older. My mom was 91 in May.
Sleep. Yeah, that's the worst when you're sleeping.
Giving up all control over her bowels.
That's what we're working on. And